I'm Edwin Warfield. I'm the publisher of Citybiz, and I'm honored today to interview Sheryl Dennis, who's the managing partner of Fields and Dennis. Welcome, Sheryl.
Good afternoon. Now that we have all of our computer glitches straightened out, it's very good to be speaking with you.
So, can you provide a snapshot of Fields and Dennis today, the practice areas, partners, any other, just a snapshot of where the firm is today?
Well, Fields and Dennis was established in 2004. John and I formed the firm February 1st of that year. We decided to establish a firm that would encompass anything that a family might need within the probate and family court. So we do everything from prenuptial agreements to divorce, post-nuptial agreements, and anything that's involved in that. Custody matters, contempts, all of that. And then we also deal with issues of guardianship, conservatorship, estate planning, probate litigation, fiduciary litigation. So we cover the whole area of what's involved in the probate court or what the probate court deals with. As far as partner, we also do mediation, and John mediates a number of divorces. That's John Fields. He is my partner. We do have other partners in the firm. Vicky Sheeman focuses on mediation. Wendy Merstein is a litigator on the divorce side, as is Andrea Delaney. We do have one partner who deals with general litigation, and that's Jonathan Crafts. He gets pulled into the probate litigation every once in a while, but generally he does general litigation. He has a history in commercial litigation and white-collar crime.
Right. Can you summarize your career and really the evolution of the law firm? It goes back to 2004, but yeah, tell us about your career and the decision to really start your own practice.
Well, my career, when I was in law school and until 1992, I was involved in a major toxic tort litigation, representing one of the defendants who was a Fortune 500 company. And then when things changed with that, many of the companies had filed bankruptcy, and it was at that point or about a year later, where the company I was representing filed bankruptcy. I left the firm. I took a year off just to recover from that, and then started looking around to see what was out there. I would go to recruiters and they would tell me I could manage 4,000 cases, but I didn't have any trial experience. So I went about doing actually some criminal defense work for a few years to get that trial experience that I lacked. And then I started a firm with my best friend from law school who was living in the suburbs, and that's why we're in the suburbs. That's why we're in Wellesley. We started a firm in Needham, and eventually John came to work for us, and at that time we had an internal change. She married, moved away. So John and I thought about it, discussed it, and decided to start the firm. At that point, it was just John and I and two paralegals. So we started the firm in Needham. We then, when our lease ran out there, moved to the Wellesley Office Park, which is where we are, although we have evolved into larger space and then larger space beyond that since moving here. And just slowly building up the practice. We didn't want to do anything where we rushed in and just, took on too many people or did something that wouldn't be good for the business in the long run. So that's why we've had this progression from 2004 when there were two of us to now when there are, I believe, six, and we're also hiring somebody else in the fall who will also be on the estate planning, probate, and tax side of the practice.
And so tell us how you decided to choose family law as your practice area.
Well, actually, I keep getting dragged back into family law. I have an LLM in estate planning and elder law. So I try to stick to the estate planning, and because my background is litigation, doing probate litigation and trust litigation. I was out of litigation long enough that I got back into it and then decided that I really did like it again. Just needed a period outside of the litigation and then came back into it. So as I say, I get drawn into the divorce litigation, but primarily I do the probate and probate litigation.
And so how often do your cases end up in mediation?
I would say probably 30 to 40% of the time we try to mediate rather than have to litigate. We also do something else. We do have two members of the firm who not only are attorneys, but one has a PhD in counseling, the other one is an LICSW. So they both have that mental health background. And there's something that's called family group conferencing, where you try to bring the entire family together and work out it's different from mediation because people aren't represented by counsel generally in this situation, but many times it's trying to pull out the issues and what the issues are that are actually causing the problems, and then get people to try to work together to solve those problems, to overcome those problems, to be able to work situations out. This comes up a lot with elders, with guardianships, and conservatorships, where the one adult child will say, mom needs to go into a nursing home, or mom needs to go into assisted living, and the others are, oh no, mom's fine, even though she set the drapes in the kitchen afire 2 days before the situation. So, try to get through the whole, is it a money issue? Is it one of us should really be there for mom, or one of us should take her in? And why I say mom, it generally turns out to be mom rather than dad that this happens to. But the family group conferencing can work out very well. It's something that was started, I believe, in Australia and has come over here. It's not used that much, but when it is, it can be very useful and very helpful.
And what have you the other?
No, as you say, it can be useful with elders and children, because if there's a child and neither one of the parents are capable of taking care of the child at the moment, let's keep DCF, the Department of Children and Families, out of it. Let's get the families together, both sides, and figure out how this is going to be handled, who's going to take care of this child, who's going to be respite, and do it that way rather than getting the state involved.
So it's a perfect segue into special needs, which is one of the areas that you're interested in. So what are the key features of setting up a special needs trust?
This is going to sound very strange, but making sure that the individual that the trust is being set up to benefit actually has special needs. Many times people will come and they will say, I need a special needs trust. And we'll get into it and say, what are the issues? What are the issues that the child or the adult has that you think you need a special needs trust? And many times they don't reach the requirements or the thresholds of having a special needs trust. I think one thing, of course, there are self-settled special needs trusts and there are third-party settled. If a parent was to set up a special needs trust for a child, that would be third-party settled. It does not have to be an irrevocable trust. It can be a revocable trust in that instance. The instance where it is a self-settled, and generally that comes up where it's some type of accident that has caused the disability, if that's a first party trust. If it's, let's say, a settlement from some type of accident that needs to go into a special needs trust, that is a first party self-settled trust that is irrevocable, so that the person, the beneficiary, has no right to the principal of the trust. It can only be used, you have to follow all the Social Security guidelines and all, so that the person doesn't become ineligible for benefits. And unfortunately, sometimes what we have found is there are people who have never set up a special needs trust, who have never dealt with, let's say, the Department of Mental Health with the person, and they have a hard time because they can't access certain benefits, certain programs. And also, if a lot of these programs, you have to be receiving Social Security benefits, or else if you wanted to self-pay for the program, you could not. So that's why you have to make sure that the person only has the income that they're allowed, which is one reason for having these special needs trusts.
So, what impact has COVID had on divorce and your practice?
We have survived very well through COVID. We have done well through COVID. I think that there's been a number of mediations, a number of situations where perhaps it could have gone into litigation but didn't, because of everything else that was going on. I also think that COVID may have increased the number of divorces that we're seeing, the number of issues that we're seeing with people being stuck in the same house or whatever for now over a year. Hopefully we're getting out again. I know we are here. Everything is opening up. Masks are no longer required. So we're doing better in that regard. It's also on the estate planning side. People have thought about things that they weren't thinking about before, just because of what they're seeing around them, and that has picked up tremendously, I would say. As far as our office during COVID, we had people working from home. We had 3 of us who were here in the office throughout the entire time. We may have taken days off or may have worked in the office a limited number of days a week, but in the office. And then everybody else has come back to the office. So I guess we're lucky that we have fairly large office space. We're not right on top of each other. But we've done all right.
And so, what are the growth plans for the firm?
Well, as I said, we are in the process of hiring another attorney, and I believe that will mean additional support staff. I think that a good size firm for what we do is somewhere between 10 and 12 attorneys, whether they be partners, associates, or whatever. I think if you get over that, you probably start getting a little too big for the type of firm that we want to be. I was with a large firm, I was with a medium firm, and it's a good size. I think 10 to 12 is a good size to have. And we're working towards it, but we're working towards it hopefully smartly. And as we find people that we think are a good fit, not only personality-wise and all, but practice area-wise.
And so, is there any part of the Fields and Dennis story that you haven't told that you'd like to share with us?
Oh boy. I don't know about that. I can tell you that John and I are polar opposites, which I think works for us, but we definitely are polar opposites. He is the real people person, and I'm more of the business, looking at the numbers and all of that. And he definitely is the people person, which I think is why he does so well doing the mediations that he does. It's because he empathizes probably a lot more than I do.
Well, Sheryl, I want to thank you for sharing your story. And I never thought I'd do a family law interview, but life, I enjoyed it, and I wish you the best of luck going forward with your practice and your life.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I wish you the same.